All right. Shabbat Shalom to you Akim out there. All right. This is your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Come with another lesson through the Spirit. Lord willing, this be edifying to the Lord's elect. And before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and all glory unto Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi Bahashem Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Shalom to the Akim out there that's pushing the truth, that's laboring in the word, and that's pushing the gospel of the great kingdom that's soon to come. Shalom to the Akwath that's listening in, that's remaining true to the faith, and remaining faithful and submissive to their husbands and guiding their children. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. To all you Israelite foreigners out there who live among the heathen and who look like those heathen nations, but your lineage goes back to the progenitors of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel through the line of your fathers. I want to say peace and blessings to you all, Barakatham. All right. So, this lesson was inspired, you know what I'm saying, by a movie. Okay. A little while ago, I was actually watching the movie Split. The movie Split, if you don't know, it was one of it's one of the 3-part movie series, right? The first movie is the movie Unbreakable with Bruce Willis, all right, and Samuel Jackson. The second movie is Split, starring James McAvoy, which is what I was watching, and the third is Glass, starring all three. You know what I'm saying? And that's the image that you see on the screen. All right. So the movies actually are essentially showcasing individuals with spiritual powers, right? Also known as superhuman abilities. And just to run it down, Bruce Willis has superhuman strength and he can regenerate, right? And you got James McAvoy. James McAvoy, he has the ability to exert 18 different personalities of himself, all right, including a woman. You know what I'm saying? And his performance of those roles, you know what I'm saying? You got to watch it, man. His performance of those roles was done so exceptionally well. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd be surprised if he didn't get, Oscars or Emmy Awards and all that stuff for his performance, man. It was just top notch. You know what I'm saying? Top notch. You got to see it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to spoil the fun for you. You know what I'm saying? And then finally you have Samuel Jackson. All right. And Samuel Jackson, he had his mental capacity so high with an IQ on the level of a genius that he could, to the point where he could undermine the plans of a clandestine secret society that had been in operation for millennia. All right. So, these are not ordinary men. You know what I'm saying? These are not ordinary men. And all these actors, James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, and of course Samuel Jackson, I believe these are all Israelites, all three of these men. You know what I'm saying? Not just Samuel Jackson, but all of them. I believe they're Israelites, man. You know what I'm saying? But it requires the spirit of discernment to be able to determine something like that. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, now that I'm done pretty much praising these movies, which I hope that you get the time, find the time to watch these, all of them. You know what I'm saying? All those movies. They're very spiritual. You know what I'm saying? All three of them. All right. But, I want to point out a phrase that was said at the end of the second movie, Split. All right. And that's what sparked this lesson. When the beast had seen the young girl, all right, and that's this character right here, all right, James McAvoy's character. As you can see, he's in a state of being where he's able to be like a superhuman that has not just superhuman strength, but has a beastly mentality. You know what I'm saying? And you know what he said in that movie, in the last part of that movie, when he saw the young girl, he saw that she had a troubled life. You know what I'm saying? He saw that he had a troubled life when he saw her, when he witnessed her scars. You know what I'm saying? And what he told her that she was different from the rest. All right? That she was different from the rest, that her heart was pure, and that the broken are more evolved. All right? The broken are more evolved. And that's what I'm going to name this lesson. All right? The broken are more evolved. And that's, you know, it had me really thinking. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember that there can be a spiritual message in everything if you pay close attention. You know what I'm saying? So as I thought about it, I realized that there's not just a state, you know, that's not just a state of being, you know, that was being emphasized. You see what I'm saying? When he said that, it wasn't just that, it was also a mindset, right? So I looked up the word or the definition of the word for broken, right? Let's go there real quick. All right. For broken. First definition, it says forcibly separated into two or more parts, fractured. All right. Forcibly separated into two or more pieces, fractured. Right. And you know, when you look at the history, right? When you look at the history of the Israelites, we've been fractured ever since the death of King Solomon. You know what I'm saying? For those who know the history, you know, you got to notice that the name King Solomon, all right, in the Hebrew is Malak Shalawam. Malak Shalawam, all right? Malak meaning king, Shalawam means peace, all right? And, you know, which when he died, all right, when he died, peace amongst the kingdoms had died with him. You know what I'm saying? So his name was symbolic in many ways. All right. When King Solomon had died, there was no more peace in Israel. Okay, the kingdom was rent into two. All right. The northern kingdom, all right, the nation as a whole has split into the northern kingdom of Israel under King Jeroboam and the southern kingdom of Judah under King Rehoboam. All right. Let's go to 1 Kings. Okay, this is 1 Kings chapter 14 and verse 30. And it reads, let's see. It reads, and there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all their days. All right, so there was war between the two kingdoms, man. Right? And, you know, as a result, you see the northern and the southern kingdoms fighting amongst each other to this very day. Right? The so-called Negroes are against the Hispanics. The so-called Latins or Latinos, they're against the Benjamites of the West Indies. You see what I'm saying? The so-called Native Americans are against the so-called Negroes. And the Latinos, the so-called Latinos, are against the Hispanics, so-called. You see what I'm saying? It's just war amongst the tribes, man. It's just war amongst the tribes. There's no peace. All right? So we've been broken for a very long time. Let's go back to the definition. Let's see a couple more definitions here. Check this out. It says sundered by divorce or separation or desertion of a parent or parents. Okay, so sundered by divorce. Let's get that real quick. All right. Because I'm thinking about a precept. You know what I'm saying? Because we've also been divorced by our husband, so to speak. Right? Remember, the children of Israel are likened unto a comely and delicate woman. Right? And when we entered into the covenant, we entered into a marriage. All right. The word marriage means to join. Okay. And and that divorce, pretty much as you go through the history and you see what's going on today, that divorce has devastated us greatly, man. Greatly. So let's go to the precept here. Let's hit Jeremiah chapter 3. All right. Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 8. It reads, "And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also." All right. If you know the history of the Israelites, the history of Israel when they split into two kingdoms. All right. As I just mentioned earlier, the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. Okay. The kingdom of Israel went off so bad that they went into captivity first. All right. They went first into captivity. And that was under the Assyrian rulership. Right. And I believe the ruler was King Salmanassar. Right. So that was the first of the captivities. The first of the captivities started with the northern kingdom. All right. And there's a saying that Elder Malcolm has all the time. He says, you know, what does he say? He says that affliction happens to the northern kingdom first, and it hits the southern kingdom worse. You see what I'm saying? And those words are so true, man. You know what I'm saying? It starts first with the northern kingdom, and then it gets even worse with the southern kingdom. All right. Take for example the things that you see that you're seeing, you know, revolving around the immigration situation, right? With the immigration situation is hitting first the northern kingdom of Israel, all right. But when these Edomites kick it into high gear, it's going to be even worse for the southern kingdom, you so-called Negroes, man. All right. So, and that's going to be the hardest on Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You know what I'm saying? Real talk, man. All right. But like it's saying here, the northern kingdom of Israel went off, and then the southern kingdom followed suit right after. You know what I'm saying? Following other gods and this and that, so on and so forth. All right. So let's go back to the definition. The definition for broken. Let's go to the third definition. It says, having been violated. All right. Having been violated. Definition number 4, incomplete. All right. Number 5, being in a state of disarray or disordered. You see what I'm saying? Being in a state of disarray or disordered. See what I'm saying? Let's see. The 6th definition, intermittently stopping and starting, discontinuous. All right, so let's break that down, man. Let's break that down. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been violated and in disarray, right? We've been violated in disarray. We've been incomplete. All right. We've been incomplete. We've been constantly stalled. You know what I'm saying? Constantly stalled. Let's get a precept for this. All right. Let's see. Let's see. I'm thinking of one precept. Let me see if I can find this one. No, that's not it. Let's get this in Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 14. All right. Jeremiah 30 and verse 14, it reads, "All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased." All right. But thy sins were increased. Let's go to Ezekiel. All right, Ezekiel chapter 23 and verse 22. It reads, "Therefore, Ahalibah." All right, therefore, O Allah, let me read that again. Therefore, O Aholibah, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I will raise up thy lovers against thee, from whom thy mind is alienated, and I will bring them against thee on every side. All right, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, as the scriptures say in Jeremiah. You know what I'm saying? All right, we've been violated, man. Let me look up this word for Ahalibah. All right, Ahalibah. Let me look this up real quick. All right, Ahalibah. In the Hebrew, that's Ahaliyah, Ahaliyabah. All right, so in the Hebrew it's Ahaliyabah, and it's a symbolic name. All right, a symbolic name for the children of Judah. All right, it says literally woman of the tent, or the tent is in her. Okay, so in a roundabout way, the Lord is calling the children of Judah and the children of Israel whores, man. All right, saying you've been a hoe out in these streets, man. You've been a hoe, a woman of the tent. Okay, when you let all these men come into your tent, you know what I'm saying? Or it says the tent is in her. Okay. And we don't have to break that one down, right? So this is essentially what idolatry is, man. Idolatry is the act of walking out on the Heavenly Father, you know what I'm saying, and worshiping other gods, man. Okay? It's the act of adultery, but in the spiritual sense. You see? So Ahaliyabah. That's the name that that the Lord had given to the children of Judah, you know what I'm saying, for their whoredom. Right? So let me see. Having been violated. Okay, and as a result, the Lord allowed all these nations to have their way with us. Right? He allowed all these nations. If you want to serve their gods, then I'm going to allow you to serve them. You see what I'm saying? If you want to serve their gods, then I'll allow you to become subjected and become, you know, slaves under them. Right? As a matter of fact, I mentioned this precept earlier. Let's get this in Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. And it reads, "Thus saith the Lord power, Yahawah Tazabawath, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go." Right? So we've been in that constant state of being violated and incomplete. All right? We're incomplete without our husband. You know what I'm saying? Being in a state of disarray, disordered. You see what I'm saying? All right? Constantly stalled, man. You know how it is, man. 1 step forward, then 3 steps back, and then 5 steps forward, because we got to work even harder to catch up now, and then 3 steps back again, and now we're back at square one. You see what I'm saying? That's how it is. All right? That's the result of a broken nation that is cursed. Right? But guess what? This all works to our benefit at the end. You know what I'm saying? All right? This all works to our benefit. Why is that? You may be asking, why is that? Because the reason why is because the broken are more evolved. You see what I'm saying? The broken are more evolved. When you listen to, an old excerpt, of Elder High Priest Yahawah, you know what I'm saying? He explains the true purpose of why we had to go through the shit that we went through, man. You know what I'm saying? Through this broken state. Okay? And I find it, very very spiritual that the first of these 3 movies is called Unbreakable. You see what I'm saying? The first of these 3 movies is called Unbreakable, man. You know what I'm saying? Very spiritual. All 3 of these movies. All right? You know what I'm saying? But it's ultimately the reason why, as the Elder High Priest Yahawah had explained, the reason why we had to go through this crap is ultimately for the purpose of teaching us the fundamental lessons. All right, before we become elevated, before we're exalted to our original state of godhood. All right, as is written in the book of Psalms, the 82nd chapter. All right, I believe that's the 6th verse. So let's grab that real quick. So this is Psalms 82 and 6. It says, "I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes." Okay, we're in this broken state. We're in this broken state, waiting to come back to our original state. You know what I'm saying? The Elder High Priest had explained, we had to know evil. You know what I'm saying? We had to know evil. Let's get this in the Proverbs chapter 11, man. Because the Lord deals in balance. All right, Proverbs 11 and 1. It says, "A false balance is abomination to the Lord Yahawah, but a just weight is his delight." You see what I'm saying? So in order for us to be perfect, we had to know both sides inevitably. See what I'm saying? Eventually, we had to know both sides of this coin. All right? We had to know evil. We had to experience how it felt, how it tastes, how it operates. You see what I'm saying? We had to be subjected to these weak and frail bodies. We had to be subjected to being in sin, you know what I'm saying, and constantly having to struggle the same way the Apostle Paul had explained. You see? All right. So that way, when we're brought back to what we once were in the ancient world before he stripped us of our immortality, we will be perfect as the judges of the earth. You see what I'm saying? And this fact was alluded to at the end of the third movie, when you look at the movie Glass, you know what I'm saying? When the agent had unveiled the truth that Mr. Glass, you know, who was played by Samuel Jackson, she told him that he was right all along. All right, he was right all along. His predictions, everything. You see what I'm saying? All of the speculations, all the you know, the you know, the research that he had done, it was all correct. All the comic books and the works of fiction, all right, that we see today, the Marvel comics, the DC comics, you know what I'm saying? The works of fiction of old, you see what I'm saying? The things that's depicting, all right, fiction is actually depicting what once was in the time of antiquity. You know what I'm saying? For example, when you look at the X-Men, right? When you look at the X-Men, and they were mutants, and they had spiritual power or superhuman abilities, right? You know, you look at their emblem. All right, look at their emblem. Look at the symbol on the belts of the X-Men. Okay, it's the Hebrew letter Ta. All right, that's Hebrew. It's Ta. It's the X inside the circle. That's the Ta. That's Hebrew. That's on their garments. Hebrew, that's on their costumes. All right. So all these comic books and works of fiction, you know what I'm saying, it's just depicting what, you know, what used to be back in the ancient world before the flood of Noah. You know what I'm saying? And the elites know this. All right, the elites know this. And she told Glass, Mr. Glass, you know, that her organization have been actively trying to stop them from re-emerging. Okay, what did she say? She said that there were gods amongst us, and they don't want that to happen again. You see what I'm saying? All right, but of course, as the third movie ends, all those efforts that they have done, all the things that they did to keep this from happening, all right, their efforts were proven to be futile, and the inevitability is going to happen. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's going to take place here, all right, at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? At the end of all these things, you're about to see some major miracles take place, man. This is Job chapter 14 and verse 5. It reads, "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass." You see what I'm saying? This is inevitable. They can't stop it as much as they want to. They can't stop this thing. All right. When you look up Project Looking Glass, when you when you see how earnestly they're moving forward with this AI and all these things, you know what I'm saying, super soldiers and whatnot, you're about to see some crazy wild shit in the coming in the times to come, man. You know what I'm saying? I won't put any time frames on it, you know what I'm saying, but we can clearly see that it's very close. You see what I'm saying? All right. The elect are going to come back, and the might, you know what I'm saying, that we once had, man. And all of this is possible due to our Lord Yahawah. All right. He's the foundation. He's the cornerstone. He's at the core of all of this that's going down, man. All right. Yahawah, he led the way in bringing us back to the adoption of sons, right? When he shed his own blood to bring us back to that mended state, but even greater. You see what I'm saying? Yahawah told the disciples, he said, "These things shalt thou do. These things that I do, thou shalt do even greater than these." All right, because I go to my Father. You see what I'm saying? And how the elect are being regathered is through the preaching of the words, all right, through that new song, man, through the testimony of Yahawah. Let's get this in Revelation. All right. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 19. And let's hit verse 10. It says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am your fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi. Worship the Most High our power, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy." So the prophets coming out here preaching this word, you see what I'm saying? We're bringing you the testimony through singing this new song. All right? And that's what's gathering the elect. Let's get this in Isaiah chapter 34. All right, Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 16. It says, "Seek ye out of the book of the law, the book of the Lord, and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded." All right, and the Lord's mouth are his prophets. "And his spirit it hath gathered them." All right, and the gathering is happening through the preaching of the word. You see what I'm saying? So as you're hearing these words, the elect are being sealed. You see? Let's get this in the book of Matthew. All right. Let's go to Matthew chapter 9. And let's hit verse 12. All right. Matthew chapter 9, let's start at verse 11. It says, "And when the Pharisees saw it, they said," let's hit verse 10. Matthew chapter 9 and verse 10, it says, "And it came to pass as Yahawashi sat at meat at the house, or in the house, Salakia, behold, many publicans and sinners came and sat down with him and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, Why eatest your master with publicans and sinners? But when Yahawashi heard that, this the point, he said unto them, They that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick." You see? But they that are sick. "But go ye and learn what that meaneth. I will have mercy and not sacrifice, for I am not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance." You see what I'm saying? And this is for the sake of the elect, man. Why? Because we're looking for that, we're looking for the sure mercies of David, man. All right? The sure mercies of David is going to bring us back to the fold. It's going to bring us back to what we once were in the ancient world. You see? And the Lord Yahawashi is bringing us back through this, through the Spirit, man. All right. Let me see. When you look up the etymology for the word for sick, all right, because he said, I come to the sick, man. All right. They that are whole, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. So let's look up sick in the etymology. Sick. All right. The etymology for the word sick. It means ill, unwell, diseased, feeble, weak, corrupt, sad, troubled. All right. Troubled, deeply affected by strong feelings, man. Hey, is this not us? This got to be the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? To the letter. All right, this got to be the Israelites to the letter, man. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 61. Right? Isaiah 61 and verse 1. It says, "The Spirit of the Lord Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi is upon me, because he, the Lord Yahawah, hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our power, to comfort all that mourn. You see what I'm saying? This come on now. This is talking about the Israelites. Going back to the etymology for the word sick. All right, ill, unwell, diseased, feeble, weak, corrupt. All right, when you look at our people today, are they not corrupt? Are they not sad, troubled? Are they not deeply affected by strong feelings? All this marching everywhere, you see what I'm saying? Always sighing and crying everywhere, all over the place, man. All right, and they don't know what's going on. All right, they don't know what's going on, man. Check this out. It says, distressed emotionally by grief, anger, etc. You know what I'm saying? Distressed emotionally by grief. We just read that. All right, we just read that. To bind up the brokenhearted, man. All right, the broken are more evolved. You see what I'm saying? Check this out. Physically ill through emotional distress. The sense of being tired and weary. What does the scripture say? It says that they shall wear out the saints. All right? They shall wear out the saints, man. Mentally twisted. All right? Spiritually or morally corrupt. All right? This is us, man. You see what I'm saying? This is us. So are we not broken? The broken are more evolved, man. And the Lord is about to bring us back, all right, greater than we ever were. You see what I'm saying? Indeed, we are broken, man. All right, but when the Lord mends us back, we will be far greater than we ever were in times past. You see what I'm saying? When it was talking about the giants, it was talking about the sons of God. You see what I'm saying? That's who we were before we were known as Israelites in the reincarnation. You see what I'm saying? Hey, man, you know, when you break a bone, after it's mended back together, it becomes stronger, doesn't it? So I'm going to cut that there, man. I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. This has been your brother Zakaria, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. In closing, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Yahawadah. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.